All right. Hello. This is the first episode of Unveiled, a D&D 5e live play streamed game here with Vibe Tribe Productions. We're going to get right into it and introduce our cast. First, Joff.
Hi, that's what we call in the business good radio, because that was a whole lot of empty space. I'm Joff, and I don't think we're giving away anything about our characters yet, but I am on the internet and happy to see everyone. Was that good? I don't know. I don't know if I'm good.
Enough.
All right.
How about Tony?
Hey, what's up, Internet? This is Dragons. I'm going to be playing a character tonight. I'm not going to reveal anything just yet, but he goes by the name of Versati, and we'll leave it at that. You can find me on the Clock app as at LevaFed and Dragons if you care to follow any of my nerdy stuff there. And yeah, let's get into it.
How about Chris?
Hello, I'm Chris. I'm also playing a character here. That's pretty much it.
How about Josh? Are you playing a character?
I am playing a character. Hello, other four white bearded men. I am playing a giant penis. That's the plan. No, I'm kidding. I will. I guess I can't tell you any of the details at this point. It seems to be inappropriate. Nobody else. Everyone else is holding their cards to their chest. But you can find me at the Questing Cast, YouTube, Twitter, X, these things. I am completely inactive, but that is where you could find me if you wanted to message me.
And I am Dakota or Shiro, and I will be DMing this game. Very excited to see how this goes. I'm super stoked to have my cast here. They're all super talented. And yeah.
Prove it.
So, well, you know. So, we will open tonight on the road. There are 3 travelers. One is, you hear the clopping of hooves on dirt as a centaur comes into view. And Chris, you can describe what you look like.
Okay. My character is a centaur. He looks very young, younger than he actually is. He looks like he's maybe 18. He's a very pretty boy. He has almost androgynous features. His hair is kind of tousled, just straight black hair. He has bright, like sky blue eyes. And his horse body is kind of a golden tan, solid golden tan with a black tail and black legs below the knees. And he's wearing a dark blue tunic over some studded leather armor. And he's got a backpack and some saddlebags. And he has 2 short sword hilts sticking out from behind him as well.
Oh yeah.
There's someone screaming outside my window.
That's always how it happens whenever you start anything.
Hi, Tacoma.
And I for a second thought it was like a cat, because it's like meow, but no, it's a human. I can tell.
So, next to our very pretty pony, tell me where your character is riding, and please describe them. Joff.
My character is riding on a cart. The cart is being pulled by a horse that's probably just being led along by Chris's character, because my character is not holding on to the reins. She is very small, probably pushing 5 foot, appears human, is sitting in the back of the cart as the cart is being pulled without reins. She's wearing one of those pointed Asian-style farming hats that's oversized. One would assume to protect from the elements. She's also wearing a very large, deep maroon cloak, and has in her grasp a bone white walking stick with a lovely leather wrap to hold, which she's clutching against herself. She also has a very bright red, red lacquered, ostensibly a backpack or a shoulder strap, but it's a huge box. So if anyone is familiar with a red lacquered box, that's what it is. It's very large. It's almost the same length as her walking stick, so pushing 50 inches in length, but it is about 4 inches in depth and about 8 inches wide. And there's a leather strap that holds it to her, and she also has a blanket, a small blanket tucked in her lower back so that this box is not bothering her as she would be walking, but instead she's on this cart. She has altogether too much very black, very, very black hair that also has strands that are dangling in front of her face that have little pieces of paper, also some keys tied into them that are dangling in front of her face. But that doesn't seem to bother her at all because she also has a also pretty dark maroon, almost muslin gauze wrap around her eyes, and she is not watching where they are going because it would not matter to her to see it.
Interesting.
So there is one other member traveling with this cart, and they will introduce themselves shortly. But as your cart travels down this path, sliding across the dirt, eventually it crests over a hill, and in the distance you see a massive sprawling tree with the foliage extending out over a bunch of wooden, archaic looking buildings underneath. The cityscape for this spans about 3/4 of a mile long underneath the tree, with all of the housing and things built almost into the tree and around. From where you are, as you're heading down, you see some fields in front of you before you get to the city proper underneath this big tree. Yeah, it's kind of where you're heading down the road. And I'll let you talk for a second, maybe about where you want to go.
As we're riding along, as we're riding along, we leap. No, I'm just kidding. As we're riding along, Red turns to, well, doesn't turn, of course.
Doesn't matter.
I'm gonna say it wrong again. Chris.
Tilvius.
Tilvius. I want to say Tyvalis so bad. So bad. I'm going to underline that. She says, Tilvius, do you see the tree yet? Are we getting close?
I certainly see a very big tree. There looks like there's a town under it, or kind of within it. Its roots are... So I assume this is where we're going.
Okay. Well, when we get there, all I need to do is make one delivery here, and then, whatever we're going to do with the bag.
Sounds good to me. I've never been out in this direction before.
I've been here a couple of times. It's not, a highlight, but there's a huge market in front of the tree if you're looking for anything.
Sure, I might check that out. There's something that I've kind of been wanting to ask you, though.
Of course.
when we were in that in the grove, in that, I'll call it a cave. I don't know. I don't mean to be insensitive, but you seem to be able to find your way around in there. Do you mind if I ask you how you do that?
Well, I mean, yeah, this, and she says, like waving her hands in front of her eyes. It's hard to know. Like, yeah, I know it's strange for some people. I don't get much chance to interact with people for long. After I guess the easiest way to explain it is after a while of training, listening, kind of feeling your surroundings, especially if you've been alone as long as I have, you kind of get a feel for things pretty quickly. And, if things are close enough to me, I kind of have image would be the wrong term, but like, a mental idea of, I guess, proximity. Like, I know how close you are to me, and she reaches out with her walking stick and taps you in the sides. You're right there. I know. I can feel your warmth. I can hear your breathing. I can hear you talking. I can hear your feet. And I know Masadi's right over there. I can hear how hard this horse is working. I can hear the wheels on the cart, and I can generally kind of fathom from that how far we are from the edge of the road. I can kind of guess it.
Just thought it was really interesting. I've never met anyone quite like you. To be fair, I haven't met all that many people, but.
And we'll go to the third person in this entourage, if you would like to talk about yourself.
I guess just catch me up real quick on where we are and what we're doing, since I had to step away for a second there.
Right now, you're still on the road heading to the city. You just came over the hill, and you can see the large tree in the distance.
Okay. Do they know the name of the city?
Some of them might, but I don't believe anybody said it.
So nobody said anything. Okay. I guess I'm writing Grim, and I'm pretty close to Red, and I'm just like, oh, it's so good to be home. The city of Walden is such a wonderful place. Isn't that just a magnificent tree? Isn't it the biggest tree you've ever seen in your whole life? I don't think I've ever seen a bigger tree. It's come, let's go. I have so much to show you.
And what does your character look like?
So you see a approximately 7 foot tall half orc with kind of palish green skin, very square shouldered, wearing a long blue mages or wizards type robe. And the stitching, where the fabric is stitched together, is kind of like a burnt orange or a kind of an orange color. He has a leather satchel or a pack strapped to his side. And he has just kind of a generic looking stave or walking stick or staff or whatever you want to call it. He's fairly young, as half orcs go. He's probably in his early to mid 20s, I would say. Not timid, but not super outgoing, like just the way he holds and carries himself. And he's riding the most impossibly large charcoal-colored draft horse named Grim. And he's just like looking around, just elated that he's back in Walden and he gets to show his new friends around town.
Hell yeah. So, as you all are kind of on the road heading down talking, eventually you get down to this gate. All around you are the falling leaves as the seasons are starting to turn. You see the yellows and the oranges and the reds. You smell that smell everyone associates with fall, and everybody has like this nice connotation, but really it's just decaying leaves and wood, right? You see a large signpost directly in front of you that's just kind of stamped into the ground that just says Walden in a sprawling font on it. As you get into the city proper with these kind of leaning houses made out of wood, stylized in some ancient architecture. But you enter the city proper.
Red, you said that you needed to go to the guild hall so that we could get you paid, right?
Well, yes. I need to make 2 stops. They can happen in any order. But I do need to stop by the guild hall to see Marith to drop off the receipt that you gave me for the bag.
Right.
The other thing I need to do is I have one more delivery, and she pats the box behind her for the town elder, Tuthon, I think. Is their
Oh,
name?
Tuthon, yeah.
Yeah. So I just have something to drop off for them, get a signature. In fact, if I could do that first before we go to the guild hall, I can do everything at once. I won't have to go back there twice.
I actually have something that I would love to surprise you with after we drop off that to Tuthon.
Okay.
I promise you. It's fantastic.
Well, who doesn't love surprises?
I mean, Sylvia,
yeah,
right?
they can be fun.
It's look. I know we've only known each other a short time, but I pay attention to a lot of things, right? And I think you're really gonna love this. So if you would just trust me with this one thing, just
Oh, okay.
yes.
I won't insight check you.
I mean, you do you.
Always in check.
You do you, player to player.
Always inside check your team members.
Always inside check every time.
Every time.
So, if you are trying to get to Tuthon's house, you know that he's relatively near the entrance. You take a right here down the street, directly east of the entrance, and you're pretty much there. So, as you all are heading over, the veil light is kind of thinning at this point. We're getting into like the evening time. You're kind of watching all of the farmers head back from the fields back to their homes for the night.
Oh,
You
Sylvius.
Yes.
Right down here, past Tuthon's place, is a lovely tavern that goes by
I was
the
going to ask.
Okay, it goes by the Golden Whale.
Golden
Don't
Whale.
ask me where the name came from. It's just what they call it. They got a little statue of a golden whale out front. It's a thing. However, the reason that I'm telling you about it is for a couple of reasons. Number one, when we were at your place in Edgewood, is that right? Did I get that right? Yes. The food was great. The drinks were great. The entertainment, even better. I would like to offer you tonight, once we're done with everything, to take you to the Golden Whale and show you a good time, because I really think you'll enjoy the entertainment and the food there.
Oh, I would love that. I'd love to see the entertainment in Walden.
Okay, perfect.
Never been.
I mean, it's really going to be a good time. Mama always told me that I wasn't allowed to go there, but one night I kind of snuck out after I turned 18, and I went there.
I know how that goes.
And they showed me the best time. And I never told Mama that I went there, but it was really fun.
Rusati, I have to say, your mother sounds like a fascinating person. What exactly does she do?
So my mama runs a tea shop.
Uh,
It's a little ways out of town, but it's
from where you are right now, if you were to turn around and look at the top of the hill towards the southwest, you can point it out, see it on top of the hill there.
right over there.
Oh, lovely.
You see this
So,
nice, this nice old wooden, very rustic looking building in the distance. It looks well maintained. Even from this distance, you can tell it's well maintained.
I am dying to know what your mother had us go and collect this mystery bag for.
and I'm sure as soon as we drop it off to her, we'll get to see whatever it is. Maybe, I don't know. Hopefully. She's usually pretty good about sharing. I mean, she shared with me everything that I know so far in my life, so why wouldn't she share this? And if you can't tell, you or keep continually picking up on that he's definitely not the most rounded socially individual. So it'll be
It's
a
fine.
lot
It's
of these
fine.
awkward kinds of things. It's going to be fun. So, oh, Red, yeah, it's good to see that you're back. His house is right down this way, right over here. And
Oh,
I'll just kind of, it's 100 paces in front of us down and to the left.
Red gets off the cart, assuming that I was on the cart, and she taps her walking stick in a couple places, and she goes, "Oh, I know where I am," and she just heads right for the door.
Oh, all right. I'll trot up
Okay.
alongside her, try to keep pace.
So most of the buildings you've seen in the city, as you've kind of just been going through, are like single layer, made out of wood, kind of built for necessity, not for like decoration. This is the first building you've seen that has multiple layers. It looks like a 2-layered house with like pillars out front, right, for the foundation. As you come up, you see like a large glass pane in the door here, but nobody standing guard, no bell to ring, just a door.
I mean, do
So,
you want to knock or what's customary when you do your deliveries? I mean, we can stand back here, obviously.
oh, this one isn't much of a secret. Anyone would be able to tell what this one is. So, well, I mean, if we're going to be traveling with each other for a while, I guess I can tell you this. Some of the things that I carry, I'm not supposed to know what they are, and no one's supposed to know what they are. But there are some things that I also enjoy carrying from, you know, place to place, that are unmistakable. And I just think they're so elegant that many of my clients call on me to do this. And she knocks on the door and takes the lacquered box off of her shoulder, places it on the ground in a very ceremonial manner, kneels in front of it, and then takes strands of her hair that have certain keys and puts them in specific places in the side of this box. And instead of the drawers that came out before, the lid opens to show 3 chambers, one obviously with her clothes and whatnot, one obviously with her personal effects and whatnot, and then one,
Hmm.
I think, Dakota, you said I had one more letter in there,
Yes.
or did I use it?
No, you have one more.
Okay, one letter is in one chamber. It is turned upside down so you can't see who it is from or to or anything like. There's no distinguishing markings. And then in a larger chamber that's the size of all those 3 chambers and runs the length of the box, there are 2 long, well, one of them's kind of just wrapped in silk. Actually, they're probably both wrapped in silk, huh? So one's wrapped in just simple black silk, and then the one that she grabs is much thinner and shorter, and it's wrapped in kind of like an orange silk, and it has like like a bright green tassel tied to it, and she lifts it out, closes the box, and places it on top of her box with the lid shut, and waits for the door to be answered.
Did you just knock at it?
Yeah.
So eventually you'll hear, takes about 10 seconds before you hear a enter.
And she stands up, slings the box on her back, and is holding this long item, but maybe not super long, maybe a 1.5 feet. And opens the door and tucks her walking stick under her elbow and walks in.
So, as you come in, the first room you see is kind of like an entrance chamber. There's like 2 large doors open to either side in front of you, and a bunch of chairs around. Seems to be some type of like audience chamber if you were to come in. And beyond that, there's this old lizard folk sitting at a desk with a mountain of paperwork. He's got green scales, and his eyelashes are like this yellow, like dull color. He's got like the fin coming back that's that same yellow as the eyelashes. And he's got this extraordinarily long quill going on with a white feather on it. And as you come in, he kind of sets it down, and he looks up at you, and he puts his hand or his head in his hands. So what do I owe the pleasure?
And Red has her head cocked sideways so that she can hear more than see Tuthon, and says, "Do I have the pleasure of addressing Magistrate Tuthon?"
Oh my, it's been a while. The Dahlia, right?
Yes indeed. And today I have another message for you, or rather another parcel for you. This one isn't a missive, as the last one appeared to be. This is a gift from someone who wished to remain anonymous, but was apparently taken by either your work or the good you have done for your community. And she hands this silk-wrapped item forward.
You'll see him kind of like push his chair back and stand up, albeit slowly. You hear as he gets up, and he'll walk over and kind of take it from your hands. And well, I don't know what the occasion was, but thank you. I appreciate the delivery.
And she nods and unties one of the receipts and places it forward so that he can sign it.
He'll kind of look around and then grab the extraordinarily long quill, and you hear the scratching noise as he darts it across the paper, leaving his signature.
Okay. And she just keeps her hand out until...
DM, can I roll a perception check or an investigation check to be able to remember or copy his signature in my brain for a future reference?
What are you trying to roll for this?
I just want Rusadi to be able to see the signature, and because he's, a wizard and writes shit down and stuff like that, I just want to be able to remember his signature and the way he signed it.
I will say, just make me a straight intelligence check.
You got it. This is going to be the best natural one all night. Here we go.
Yeah, I hope. That would be awesome.
It is definitely not a natural one. I just got to talk badly to my dice, apparently. So hold on. I got to pull up my character sheet here real quick. La-di-da-di-da. I did have this open, and now it's not open, of course. That's how that goes. La, 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 la. Where are you, Rusadi? There you are. All right, that was a skill check. Oh my god, come on, phone. Go faster. Intellect, you said?
Yeah,
Intelligence?
intelligence.
I'm sorry. That
Same
is
thing.
that's a 23.
So as you're watching, you take special note of how at the beginning of his T's, like that
Mhm.
dotted line when he goes to cross the top of the T, he puts a lot of pressure, right? And that leaves like a significant dent or like a difference in the signature than what you would normally see. And you clock that, as well as the rest of his sprawling signature.
Okay. That's literally all I wanted. Thank you so much. Continue.
Was there anything else that I can do for you while you're here, perhaps?
No, that's all.
I had a quick question for you. Um, Mama had me out on an errand here recently, and I wasn't able to bring your shipment of tea in this week. Would it be okay if I had it brought over tomorrow? And where would you like me to leave it? Normally I bring it here and leave it on the porch out front, but is there anywhere else you would like to have it, or can I just do the same?
The porch out here is fine, child. Tomorrow is perfectly acceptable.
Okay, okay. I'll be sure to add a little extra in there for your troubles.
That is entirely unnecessary.
Yeah. Under
Um,
promise, over deliver, Mama always says.
are any of you headed to the mines?
Uh, we, not that I'm aware of. Is there business there?
No, merely curiosity.
Mama's told me about the mines, and there's a lot of good and a lot of, potentially bad, I guess, that comes out of there. But uh, I've never been to the mines before. That would be interesting. Is there something that you need, sir?
No, it was just curiosity.
Insight check.
Yeah, I was about to say
Yeah.
100.
Oh, that's not bad.
I rolled a 21 on insight.
Mama always told me about the mines.
I got them. I got them
Mama
dirty
told
20.
me.
Dirty 20 on my end.
Hey,
Oh,
we
So 20,
matched.
20, and
we
21
matched.
on
All
insight.
y'all are insightful as fuck. He's definitely not sharing something about the mines, right? And as you're kind of watching him, as he goes to sit back down at his chair, because you all rolled so damn high, you watch as he like slightly tilts his head down to one of the papers on his desk. As he sits down, he goes to move another paper in front of it, as if to start writing. Right?
He's hiding something. Kill him.
As that happens, Red leans over to Tilvius as much as she can, leans over to him
Because I'm 2
right.
feet taller than you.
and like motions down
Mhm.
and goes, I can't see him look at the papers, but I can hear the papers move.
Yeah, he's got a lot of papers.
While they're talking, like I'm watching her lean over to talk, and I like step in front of her and start talking to him about his tea some more to try to
Mhm.
cover that conversation.
Sure. No, like I said, it's fine. The extra day is not going to hurt anything. Thank you again for this. As he holds up the cloth package.
What's in the cloth package? Can I investigate that?
Yeah, you definitely can.
That's not as good.
I mean,
That's
it's not
only
super.
That's a 15.
It's not
15?
super hidden.
No, the DC was not high.
Yeah,
It is a straight piece, about the size of a longsword, about the girth of long sword.
Hmm.
You said girth.
Off to a good start.
That's a very fine piece you had delivered today. I'm sure it was quite the unexpected arrival, I would assume.
I would say so.
Do you
I
have a
did
large
not
collection
expect
of
it.
Do you have a large collection of things like that?
No. If this will likely be delivered to the barracks.
Is someone expecting it, or are you just gonna pass it off?
No. This is entirely unexpected. I'll be making a trip to Soraya tonight to drop it off.
Inside check. Yeah, that was terrible. That's like 6.
He seems to be on the up and up.
Okay. Whenever you say the name Soraya, his eyes light up. Like, oh, and he leans in real close. He's like, sir, could I save you the trouble in having to leave home this evening? I'm taking it to this. I'm going right now.
If you and your fellows would like to take it over to her, that's perfectly fine. You are the ones that delivered it.
I mean, I would be honored to take care of that for you, sir.
It was your delivery, so he'll kind of like lean it take his hand over the table, lean it out towards you.
What did he say? Did he say Soraya?
Soraya.
Is that a place, or do I know that name?
That's a person. You do not know that.
The person that you don't know.
As I see we're getting ready to at least kind of make tracks, Red says, Magistrate, kind of pointedly, she goes, as a member of the guild, do you need anything delivered to the mines?
No, my girl. There is nothing to be delivered to the mines.
Or taken from the mines?
No, there's nothing to be taken from the mines, outside of the normal deliveries that the merchants do, and the tradesmen. And
kind of sensing that he doesn't get the request if he needs help, she goes, okay.
All right. Magistrate Tucson, I feel like we've taken up a lot of your time. You seem to be a very busy individual. Why don't we just get out of your hair for you?
He looks at the stack of paperwork in front of him, and he looks back at you. You swear you see a tear.
So I kind of like tap Rusati on the arm, and it's kind of like too crowded for me to actually turn around in here, so I just kind of clomp backwards out the door.
I just give a slight head nod bow, and then I back out with Tilvius.
As you all exit the house and you hear the door slam shut in front of you from the wind, you smell that like crisp air as it hits you, that notion that night is coming, as the veil light has almost completely died down and is no longer leaking through like the foliage above, right?
So I'm going to turn. Can I turn to Rusati and go, what is up with the mine?
So he's going to have this like puzzled look on his face, and he's going to be like, look, I don't get out much.
I don't either.
I point to Mama's store on the hill, and I'm like, that's where I spend most of my time. I come down here for deliveries and to pick things up from time to time. I don't get out much. I probably should ask more questions about things that around my own, where I live. But the mines, I I don't really know much about the mines. Maybe we could find something out this evening
Just
at the guild
seemed to
hall or
be
something. But
in
I
quite a point of conversation in there, and I thought it was a little bit odd. All right. Hey, DM, is this town by the ocean?
I'm muted on the wrong program. It is not by the ocean, but directly to the northwest there is a large lake.
Oh, okay, it's a lake. Never mind.
okay. So, Red,
So we're going to the guild hall next, so that Red can drop off her receipts.
well, that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. What order
Sure.
would you like to do things in? We need to go to the guild hall so that Red can get her receipt and her money.
Keep in mind as well, every guild hall also has housing for those members, and anybody that walks in is welcome to food and drink.
Okay, so what if we do our package drop off, which is crazy because Syra happens to be a part of the thing I wanted to take Red to.
Syra?
Yeah,
Soraya.
Syra. Soraya,
And this
excuse me.
is
Sorry.
this is who you were giving the item that was
This,
meant for Tuthon to.
yes, at his request.
Of course. My
Um,
job's done. I just was curious.
yeah.
All right, sure. Let's go to Soraya's.
Okay. As we're walking to the place, DM, can I try to be behind the two of them? And I want to try to get a quick peek under the silk here and see what's under this.
Oh, under the
Yeah.
cloth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could tell him if you want.
Sleight of hand. I mean, he didn't ask you. He just wanted to.
I just trying to be sneaky because I don't know. 17 plus things. Blah blah blah. Sleight of hand. 17 on the die. That's it.
Yeah. So, wait, Joff, what's your
What's your pet?
natural
Yeah,
or your
your
passive?
Mm,
Yeah.
it's okay.
So
My
you
passive's
would
like
hear
14.
it, right? But as you're going, you kind of like snake the cloth up just enough, and underneath you see this like marble polished steel sword. It looks of fine quality. The cross guard is there. The hilt is made of like nice black leather, and the pommel is also this like fine silver circle, right? Looks of fine make, but beyond that, nothing stands out to you.
Okay, cool. That's it. I just wanted to peek. Youthful exuberance. All right, so as we get closer to the place that I'm taking them, you guys are going to see a butcher's shop in front of you and then a bakery kind of off to the side of that. And I tell the both of you that what?
I'm gonna be honest with you. You're thinking of the wrong person. This is Sira, not Soraya.
Oh, stand by. I'm looking at the. I think I fucked this up. All right, well then you're gonna have to take the reins because I'm completely fucked at this point.
No. You could just go here first, right?
Yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna DM you something because now I'm totally confused. 1 second.
So, as
Wait,
y'all are
Discord.
heading through this town, everybody's kind of gone to bed. But as you're looking, you're kind of looking at this massive, large tree, and the buildings that surround it, and the wood and the quality of woodwork here is impressive. And you notice the wood looks extraordinarily similar between this large tree and all the buildings. There's a lot of buildings in this town. Like if you had to guess when you were coming up, you put the population somewhere between 500 and 1,000. It's significant, and it looks like the tree has never been touched.
Everybody's gotten awfully quiet. What are
Oh,
you
sorry.
looking at?
I was just looking at the tree. I've never seen one this big. Even where I come from, didn't have them like this.
You mean the town that we just came from?
Oh, sorry, where I come from originally. I'm not actually from Edgewood.
Oh. I guess I shouldn't have assumed.
Sorry, I missed. Okay, all right, that's fine, Cheryl. No big deal. All right, we got it. We're good. All right, we're gonna back that up a little bit. I fucked that up because there's two people with the same very close names.
They are pretty close. They are
They
pretty
are
close.
very close. Pretty close. All right, so, Red, we're gonna go do the delivery here in a little bit, but we are super close to the place that I really wanted to take you to. I think you are gonna love it. And as we come into what part of town was that in? Did I write it down? Butcher shop, south of the tree. Okay, so south, we're kind of south of the big tree, kind of central south. You guys see a butcher shop, which is like bustling with business. There are people in and out of there getting their evening, things to take home to make for dinner. There's a bakery shop that's closed. There's nobody there. It's only open in the mornings, and they sell the most bomb-ass bakery stuff that, like, we have to come back here. You'll love it. However, next to that is a very small, thin alleyway, and it kind of snakes behind all of the buildings and ends up in a dead end. And Cheryl, if you want to describe the little place that is at the end of this, we are now going to pull up in front of a little place that I like to call the Wilted Thorn.
So as you're kind of looking at the end of this alleyway, it's pretty dark. Those of you without dark vision can't make out too much until you get a little bit closer, right? There's not too many lights going on here. As you're looking, you see a segmented glass window, kind of like with the panels here and then off to the side branching. And above that, you just see a small white sign that says the Wilted Thorn. And it just looks like this innocuous little hole in the wall in the middle of an alleyway.
What does it smell like?
I was just about to say, probably a little ways down the alley, Red, your nose would have just like lost it. The most aromatic mixture of coffee scents hits your nose, and you're just like instantly locked in. Like, what is this?
Oh, that reminds me. As just an aside, as a point of interest, when she opened the box, it smelled amazing. Like it smelled amazing, like tea and spices, like cardamoms, rose petal, like all sorts of
All the things.
wonderful smells came out of that box.
So just think of, in your travels, Red, think of all of the different just great little coffee shops and places that you've been into that just like the smells are intoxicating. And that is what is getting stronger and stronger as you get closer to the Wilted Thorn. And then when you get to the doorway, it's just like it's almost so intense that you can't stand it, that it's that good. And I lead you inside, and you hear this sweet, quiet voice of a middle-aged human woman who greets us with a very warm and heartfelt hello.
I attack.
I use my hooves.
So as you all kind of enter the shop here, you hear that like ring as the bell above the door goes off, right? Immediately you smell that like herbal, kind of nutty and smoky smell. And as you're looking around, you see like some flower vases and everything. And that's when you get the, oh, hello. I wasn't expecting anybody else tonight.
Ira, good evening. Hi, how are you?
Oh my, Rosati, when did you get back?
We just got in this evening.
Well, take a seat.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything special for the lot of you?
Um, if you could please, whatever my friends want, obviously, but if you could please bring out Mama's favorite, the Lake Special Press, I would be grateful that it's your best. It's amazing.
Sure. And this kind of like on the shorter side human woman, with her hair tied back in a ponytail behind her, uh, kind of like narrowed eyes almost, with a darker complexion, saunters back behind this counter, starts busying herself with tools and getting the beans ready. She leaves you all to your devices at the table for a minute.
So
This
I
this
move
was a
one of
great
the
idea.
chairs away from the table so that I can actually sit at the table because I can't sit on chairs.
Fair.
Red goes, do you want my blanket? It might be softer than the floor.
Oh no, this is fine. Thank you.
You're just
Very
gonna
nice.
stand. Okay.
Before you
kneel.
sit, before you like kneel or sit on the ground, Rusati just kind of turns in your general direction and whispers a few words, and I prestidigitate the dust off the ground underneath where you're gonna sit. It just goes.
Yep, just gone.
So, after a few minutes of waiting and like talking amongst yourselves, you hear the like steaming and brewing stop, as she walks back over to you with 2 cups first, and she sets them down in front of Red and Rosati. And she walks back and comes back with 2 more cups for Tilvius and Cyrus. Enjoy. If it's not to your liking, please let me know, and don't worry about the payment.
Cyrus is here. Just question mark.
No. Fuck. 3.
So just one extra one for
3.
Just making.
I was looking at people. Sorry.
It's all good. I lean in close to Red and I'm like, this is the thing that I wanted to show you. I really hope that you enjoy it. This is one of my favorite places here in the city.
This smells very good.
So Tilvius takes a sip and goes, and he leans over to Red. It's kind of weak.
It is. It's not particularly strong. The tasting notes that you get are not one of what you're used to, right?
And
You get a whole
over
lot.
roasted, way too strong coffee.
Yeah,
done
you're
on
getting
like
a whole lot more.
percolator on a stove.
You're getting a lot more complexity here. You're getting like some tart things. You feel like the somewhere between like that watery and syrupy feeling, but it's tart and slightly sweet, and you get imagery of like a lake of honey almost. It's evocative.
She, as Tilvius says that it's like that it's weak, she goes, no, you can just taste it.
Right. New experiences.
It's not always about punch you in the face, okay?
Well, I've only ever had Stella's coffee, so new experiences.
Yeah,
To new
that's
experiences,
fair.
hey.
Yeah, hey, cheers. Take a nice long drink.
That same as you drink more of it, that feeling of a river, it's smooth. It's not quite too sweet, but there's still that very dominant honey flavor.
And you said that it's late. People are starting to go to bed.
Yeah, we're getting like pretty late now. As you're kind of looking outside, you see some people in this like ragtag armor down the alleyway, kind of looking around. hold like hand on a little short sword at their side until they leave the alleyway and walk across the rest of the street.
Well, it seems pretty late. We've been traveling all day. I've done everything I need to do except for to provide my receipts. But after that, I'm free. None of my other deliveries need to be made for quite some time. So, what say I get my little business out of the way, and then Rosati can show us whatever he wants for as long as he wants, or we can see what those mines were about. Curiosity and all that.
Sure.
Well,
All right. Sounds good to me. We'll drop off your receipts. Maybe drop off the package to Soraya. And whatever else Rosati wants to show us.
Rusati would know that is what we talked about. Who that person is, right?
Which one?
The
Soraya?
one I'm giving the sword to.
Yeah, no, she would be like the captain of the city guard, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. So I relay that to the group that's who we're giving the sword to.
You would know there's maybe a 50-50 shot at this point that she's either walking around town or she's at the barracks. One of the two.
We're either going to bump into her doing a patrol or we'll have to go to the barracks. All of which we can do after we get Red paid.
Sounds great.
So I want to thank Sira for the coffee and the lovely ambiance. And I'll tell her that we'll be back. Mama sends her best. And if you need anything, let me know and I'll be sure that you get it, okay?
Of course. Of course.
Mama said, I forgot to tell you this, I apologize. Your shipment that's coming in from overseas should be here in about 2 weeks.
Oh, lovely. I was just about out. And she'll kind of like rub her hands through this like dirty rag that she has and toss that on the table. And then she'll pick up like this little box covered in a cloth, nice purple cloth, and she'll walk over and put it in your hands. For the road.
Oh, well, you didn't have to do that. Thank you. And I will give her a hug, as is customary for him and the people that he's close to.
Yeah. And she will give you a hug
back. He envelops her because he's, fucking giant.
Yeah, she's maybe 5'6".
Yeah, he's, it's like, Beast and Belle, essentially. Anyways.
She's way taller than me.
Before we head out, I'll reach out and take her hand and do a little bow over and say, "It's a pleasure to meet you."
And you as well, my fancy friend.
All right, Red, this way. And I head outside. And for sake of brevity, I'll lead them to the guild hall.
The coldness of night is definitely like in full sway at this point. Pretty much nobody on the road, and the shadows that the torchlight, there's kind of like these small tiki torch type things lighting the road. The shadows that they cast against the trees look ominous in a way, to all those except for Rosati, who feels warm and homely.
I see that Rosati's not worried, so I'm not going to worry.
Those of you that haven't been here before, Rosati is taking you straight to the large tree in the center of town. You're kind of looking around for like a building or something, especially those of you that have never seen a guild hall before are looking for some type of large building. You are not prepared for when he kind of dips into the roots, kind of takes his hand and heads down into the tree itself. That smell of fall is potent now. You feel that like rustic, decaying wood smell, right? we all equate to fall. And eventually you get inside of this large open circular room. It has a bunch of tables and a counter at the back. And on the counter is this lady, this nice green Eladrin, as she's just kind of sitting there with her hand, head on her hand, and a book like this. There's only one other person in the room. There's a large board on the left-hand side here, and there is a scaled creature standing in front of it, kind of really close up at the board, looking at it. But other than that, you don't see anybody here.
Red tilts her head and says, Marith, is that your perfume?
Oh, to what do I owe Dahlia?
2 receipts. They just need to be logged.
And she'll kind of she'll take them, she'll open them up, and then she'll close it. And she'll take the other one, she'll open it up, and she'll close it. And as she's sitting there, she'll kind of tap her nails on the counter. And as she does that, you'll watch as 2 rats scurry out on top of the counter, and each of the rats takes one of the receipts and then runs off.
You see Red like shudder at the sound, like, oh.
And as she's waiting, she kind of goes the other way with her nails. And then a big fat fucking rat comes out of this hole in the wall and kind of climbs up this little ladder to get onto the counter, carrying a large pouch, right? And then this large pouch, or this large rat, drops the pouch in front of you and kind of looks at you. But obviously you can't see that, right?
Yeah.
And then it turns around and goes back.
I kind of clump forward and I'm like looking for the hole to see where the rat goes.
A shit ton of holes in this place. As you're looking around, there are holes everywhere. There are holes up top that look like some type of bird could fly through, holes in the bottom, some big enough for a dog, some big enough for like a centipede, right? Holes everywhere. And as you're stopping to stare at these holes in this tree, you hear a whistling noise, almost like somebody playing a flute lightly. And as you're sitting here listening to it, it's a melody plays. It's a static melody, but light. And it's the wind traveling through.
The wind makes its own music?
Sure does.
I like that. That's very cute.
Yeah. So, Josh, why don't you tell me what this scaled individual is doing at this board?
Okay. Well, to be fair, I did zone out a little bit. So we are inside the tree.
You were inside the tree, yes.
We're
In the
inside the
Guildhall.
tree. And what is the purpose of this space? I did kind of miss that.
So this is the guild hall. It's where
The guild-
adventurers would come to accept quests, or the board you're looking at now has requests on it. It's where traders for the guild would come, couriers would come for contracts, either to pick up or drop off. It's
Okay.
also a place to eat and a place to stay the night.
I have 2 purposes here. So my character is a white scaled dragonborn
Nice.
wearing kind of padded leather armor and holding a walking stick that it
Yeah, 3
has
walking
like
sticks.
yeah, I noticed that we're walking sticks from other characters. It's kind of it's growing. It's like it's vibrant with life. Like there's moss and lichen and little bits of clover kind of growing on it. And there's a little creature on my shoulder, a glowing berry, a pixie, is sort of just hanging out on my shoulder like a parrot on a pirate. And I am just looking at the board here, kind of thinking about apparently thinking about what jobs might be worth inquiring or taking on.
Hey there, fella. How you doing?
I turn and look at Russetti.
Rusati.
Sod.
Russetti. I don't know your name yet.
Rossetti.
That's okay.
Hello. I have sort of a gruff voice and not a super friendly demeanor, but like curious. From what you can tell of a dragonborn's facial expressions, not fuck off, but like, what's up?
Right. I didn't mean to startle you, friend. My name is Rusati. I
Cirrus.
Nice to meet you, Cirrus.
Red goes in the back and puts that coin in her bag.
Gotcha. I couldn't help but notice you were looking at the jobs board. Are you new to town, or?
Not exactly. I've been here before, but it's been a while. DM, I know nobody else has at this point known the name of the town, but I would.
Walden.
Walden. Yes.
Walden?
Walden.
Like the pond?
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of grew up in Walden.
Really?
Yeah.
I've grown up here as well. I don't believe I've ever run across you before. I mean, it is a rather large town, so I suppose that's, not out of the question, but it just,
Well,
eh.
The Dragonborn tend to keep to ourselves until we reach a certain age.
This is probably maybe the first or second Dragonborn you see in your life.
I know. It's why I'm talking to him, because he's super interested and like has no idea. Well, I don't mean to take up your time. Maybe you get this a lot. I don't know. I've never really had the opportunity to sit and talk with a Dragonborn before, so you are forgive my rudeness, I guess. You just very so interesting. Like,
I'll clump up and beside Rusati and see how awkward he's feeling, and I'll just stick out my hand to Cirrus and say, "Hello, friend. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Tilvius. This is my awkward friend Rusati."
Do you come from the Greenlands?
What do you consider the Greenlands?
Never mind.
I come from a village up in the mountains called the Circling Waters. Although to call it a village would be generous.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Tilvius.
Tilvius.
What species is Rusati?
Half orc.
Half orc. Okay. That makes no difference to me. I've seen your people before, Tilvius.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
But not
I-
from your town. I know nothing
haven't-
of your town.
I haven't seen any of my people since I left my town, so
The ones you saw, Cirrus, might have been a little bit more special.
Special. I'm just returning home from what you might call a coming of age quest. My
You know,
people.
it's-
Sorry, I was
No,
going to
keep
say my
going, please.
people send our young to explore the world when they reach a certain age, and I am just coming home.
You know, it's funny that you say that. My mama, she just sent me out on my first job or quest, or I didn't really ask her what it was called. She didn't really tell me. But we had to fight. We had to fight. I've never fought anything before. I work in a tea shop, and I've learned a few things of my mama's mage wizard ways, but it would be fascinating to talk to you some more about your worldly travels. Would you care to have dinner with us tonight?
Sure. My wanderings are not over yet, and my purpose is to learn and see as much of the world as possible.
Oh, what a coincidence. I'd like to see and learn as much of the world as possible as well, so
I think that
Very well. I'm staying here tonight. They have a few rooms in this place. Do you have a place to stay?
that was actually, Rusati, I was going to ask you about that. Where am I to spend the night?
well, you're more than welcome to stay in a room here. They should be, big enough for you or for all of us. If you aren't comfortable with that and you want to stay in the stables, you can, but you wouldn't have to.
Well, I'm sure I can stay in a room for one night. If you'll excuse me, Sirius, it was a pleasure to meet you, and I'll trot over to the lady at the counter.
Which
Oh my.
we can wait.
And what can I do for you?
I'll reach out and take her hand and I do my little bow over it and say, "It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm sorry, Milady Dahlia said your name, but I am afraid I did not catch it."
Marith.
Marith, it's a pleasure to meet you.
And you?
I was inquiring if you might have a spare room that could fit me.
Of course. This is a guild, my dear.
I would be most grateful. I call back over to Rasati. I'm getting a room here.
I guess he's gonna go up for the night.
And then I lean over to her and I'm like, tell me about how you and these animals work together. That was a fascinating show.
Oh, we've been here for quite a while. I don't know who's been here longer, whether it was me or the animals, but they've all been here since just about the beginning of the tree. And I came shortly after, but we've bonded since then. And they are rather valuable for work. I much prefer working with animals versus working with the mortal species.
Well, and I look back at myself and go, well, I guess I am half animal. And kind of give a little wink.
And you see her smile get wider. Yeah. You all were with Dahlia, yes?
Yes. Yeah. Dahlia brought us in.
And she'll kind of look behind her. And there's this like large wall with a bunch of indentations and then keys hanging on hooks directly behind her. And as she's looking, she'll look towards the bottom and she'll reach out and grab one that was hanging on O3. And she'll look back and hand it to you and say, well, friends of Dahlia paid no coin here.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Very generous.
Of course. And if you need anything tonight, do let me know. Or one of the animals.
Fair
And
enough.
as she says that, this like tabby cat is going to walk out from behind the counter and sit and stare at you.
I love every bit of this.
Get down on all fours and stick my head out for it to sniff.
Aren't you always on all fours?
Well, I like kneeled. I tried to mime it, but I did a poor job. I do how horses sit down.
Yes. Okay.
So as you do, the cat kind of tilts its head at you. Then it reaches forward, takes a sniff, and then backs off, and then just continues to stare at you.
All right, I won't push it. I'll trot back over to Rusadi and Cirrus.
Okay. The cat does not move. The cat remains pretty much at this like doorway next to the counter, staring at you. As you head back over, I will say, since Cirrus was sitting there staring at the bulletin board for so long, you've pretty much gone through everything that was on it. A lot of requests to move ore, like very standard from this town. It's their like primary export from the mountain, right?
Not interested.
Some things to like to move traders, right? As kind of security detail along the road to Port Saris.
A little more interested.
The only thing that really stood out for an adventurer, right? Somebody trained in the more martial arts of the world, was a serial disappearance. It had no information, and it was paying for either information or to catch whoever is responsible.
Does it say who to contact?
It doesn't say who to contact for more information. It's pretty much serial disappearances, and then underneath it has a little bit of information. It talked about there have been 11 in the last 2 months, which is very high for a town like this, and they don't know anything about it. But there's nothing to direct you. You definitely get the vibe that this is a guild hall. They fully expect whoever takes this to know what they're doing.
And I'm not a guild. I'm not familiar.
You do not have a guild medal or anything. No.
Oh, okay. I almost feel like Joff should be back for this. Can I go pee?
Yeah, no. we can kind of move towards sleeping as well.
But I've definitely taken an interest.
Is
and I
everybody?
feel like they want to chat with me before bed.
Yeah, that's fair. We can wait. We can go on break right here.
Sure, let's take a little break.
Yeah, we can take a couple minutes.
A break. Hello.
We'll be right back, everyone.
We will be back.
Bio break.
Break.
All right.
Hello, friends.
So, we're back in the sitting area of the guild hall, with all four of you there. The attendant seems to have kind of engrossed herself back in her book. Probably doesn't get much sleep.
Fair. So, Cirrus, it sounds like there's a couple of interesting things that you read on the board. We had
There
a
are.
package. We had a package that we had to deliver before coming here, so that Red could get paid this evening for her, courier job that she does. We couldn't
I
help but
don't believe I've met Red.
notice. Oh,
This is your
my
friend.
apologies.
Look to Red.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has finished putting everything in her pack and waves
Did
potentially.
you hear my description of my character, Joe?
I did not. Will you do it again?
I am a white dragonborn, dressed in leather armor with like a blue tinge or frills to that, and I have a walking stick that is unusually alive and full of moss and like bits of greenery. And I also have a little pixie accompanying me on my shoulder. I noticed that there's one interesting job on the board, but I am afraid I'm not a guild member. I have never taken a guild job before.
Well, we happen to have a guild member right here.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I normally I'm a guild courier, specifically.
There is no distinction.
I know that.
Oh, okay. Okay, you're good.
Yeah. So the jobs I take are generally to ferry things hither and yon. But if you are interested in becoming a guild member, I can help, I think.
I'm
Why
not
not?
sure. I need to take some time later, but after that, I'm looking for work. And
Well,
this position seems interesting. I mean, have you seen the board? It's about disappearances.
I can honestly tell you I don't look at the board.
I look at you, oblivious. I see.
But I can also tell you that
He doesn't.
if you are all interested in this, I am a guild member and I can take this job and we can all do it together. And then potentially, if you are interested, you might also be able to become guild members. I mean, to be quite frank with you, becoming a member of the guild is difficult and sometimes time consuming and taxing, but often comes down to luck. And maybe this is your lucky day.
Well, the guild didn't really exist where I was for the past few years, but I think now that I'm home, it might be a good opportunity to continue seeing the world.
Sure. Are you both interested in this?
Never thought about it.
No, I
But-
meant the job.
Oh, yeah, sure. That I'm up for anything.
I think the job sounds
We don't have to be
fantastic.
members to take the job.
Well, we do. But I can take the job and we can do it together. And honestly, I just fulfilled 2 of my duties. I'm not hurting for coin. And if you are hurting for coin, this is fine with
What?
me.
Doesn't
I
sound
haven't-
like a courier job. It's gonna be.
No, it doesn't have to be. I just to be quite frank with all of you, I have not had a conversation this long with anybody in the past 2-ish years, and frankly, this is nice. And if you'd like to do this job, I would love to go with you.
You know what? I hadn't thought about it, but I haven't had a conversation with folks like you for several years as well. So you're not all.
Rusati butts into the conversation awkwardly, and he's like, "I haven't been anywhere except for Edgewood, and we almost got eaten by a gelatinous cube thing, and
It was more of a bone pudding.
It was awesome.
Pudding.
So I am in for whatever it is this is.
It
Just
was
saying.
like, to be completely honest, it was malady from what we were understanding, and we should probably register that with somebody.
I mean,
Yeah, who would we
probably.
tell?
That's not a guild thing, is it? Would that be?
You could tell the guild. The guild would handle it.
Hmm.
You could tell anybody in a position of power.
What do you mean? A malady?
The malady.
So you would know,
Oh.
having lived in the world, the malady is this sickness that overtakes, right? Think of it as like the plague, more or less, right? There's no known cure for it. If you are stricken, everything about you decomposes and melts into this black goop, and then it attempts to absorb other things.
Was the malady a feature of the place I was?
No.
And would I have experienced it growing up in my sort of familial isolation?
You would know about it. You wouldn't have experienced it.
Know about it, but not experienced. Okay.
No, I'd never seen one before either.
Same.
I don't think any of us did.
I've never seen the malady.
It was a
Neither
gross
have
bone
I.
pudding, yeah.
Wow. Gross.
What was it out of it? The grove outside of
The grove outside of Edgewood.
Edgewood.
South.
Yeah.
Okay.
East or west, I can't remember. East?
East of Edgewood,
I think southeast.
southeast
Yeah.
of Edgewood.
Was it DM? Was it actually across the border into that hell country? Okay, so it was actually across the border into that hell country that all
What
people are fighting
Southeast.
over.
Yeah, what's that called? The Southlands?
Gallica.
Gallica.
Yeah, okay.
Red flags down Mareth.
Yes.
A couple of things. Number one, I'll take that job that this gentleman was interested in.
Which job, my dear? The courier one, to transport some hodge of a noble.
No.
Serial disappearances.
Oh,
The serial disappearances, yeah.
okay.
I know it's a little bit outside of my normal realm, but no one was asking for me specifically for deliveries, were they?
No,
Then
no.
that's fine. That's fine. And secondly, I just lost the name of it. Oh no, I wrote it down. Gallica. Across the border in Gallica, to the southeast of Edgewood, there's a grove. In that grove, there is a constructed cave. Inside that cave, there is a large amount of malady.
So she's kind of been leaned over the counter every time somebody's come up to talk. She's had her finger in her book holding her page, right? As you say this, she kind of stands up. You're sure?
Yes. We three have seen it, and she actually gestures towards the direction of typhus, and not typhus. I'm sorry.
Typhoid, Tilvius.
You'll get there.
Not a
You'll get
moon,
there.
not a moon, not towards the
Or
moon,
disease.
or the or typhus disease. Yeah. So towards Tilvius and towards Rasadi. We three have all seen it. It is trapped in a barrier of magic, but it is definitely there, and it is definitely dangerous, and it is definitely just outside the border.
So as you're in the middle of talking, you're telling her all of the information, you hear footsteps. Like as you're getting to yes, I'm certain, you hear footsteps away from you as she goes behind those like double doors that lead out to what you can see rooms behind. She turns to the left and you hear like fast walking down a hallway.
She seems to have left. What is the nature of the magic that was keeping the malady in the cave?
Rusati, did you recognize it as a magic circle?
Yeah, and I believe it was abjuration.
Abjuration,
I'm
yes.
pretty
Abjuration.
sure it was abjuration.
Magical circle that it could not cross out of the cave. The
Right.
magical circle was in the doorway to the cave, and it couldn't cross it.
But you couldn't tell if it was druid magic or wizard magic.
It was
My
arcane in
arcane
nature.
knowledge is not quite that advanced.
It
I'm
was
sorry.
it was definitely arcane in nature. It was not
Abjuration.
divine. Yeah, it was not divine.
But
Uh,
no hint of who had trapped it there.
Well, I mean, this was an ancient grove. It could have been druids. I don't know. I don't know anything about magic.
Never met a
So-
druid.
About
So-
30 seconds goes by, and she walks back out. And as she is, she comes behind the counter and she extend your hand.
Who's she addressing?
Are you still there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Are you still at the counter? Because if you are,
Red has
Yeah, I'll
disappeared.
still be there. I was like, oh, well, who's she talking to? Okay, so yeah, Red does so.
So she will reach out and drop this small, smooth, spheric object into your hand. Crush it and explain in your mind what you told me.
Okay, she does exactly that.
Okay.
She crushes it and recounts in her mind, traveling there specifically because of the nature of her experience, though. It's going to be sounds, feelings,
Mhm.
positions, hearing what other people heard,
Does this magic
explanations.
make sense to me? Do I understand what's happening?
You might hear in a second. As you take your hand and you crush this little spherical object in between your hand and the rest of you would see it's like a white little ball. The dust kind of flows out from around your hand, and those watching would see it coalesce around you in kind of a whirlwind until it disappears. You have been around magic before, but you've never been like the centerpiece of magic.
Are you talking to me?
No. Red, the one that
Okay.
smushed the thing. You feel this like whoosh of energy around you, and it's like the air gets heavy.
Would
Almost like
Rasadi
you're
know what's
weighed
going
down.
on right now?
Anybody that can cast magic understands that a spell was cast through an item and that's no joke, right? And as this like weight is on you, you finish thinking your thoughts, and then it lifts and it disappears.
As that happens, she goes, if you want to know what it looked like, you might need to ask somebody else to crush that.
I believe it'll be fine.
And I now understand.
Is there anything else that you require of us?
No, that should be all. Do you need anything else from me? And you see, like, now that this has been taken care of, she's got that same posture where she's leaning over. She's flipping back through the book to try to find her page.
Red turns to Rasadi and goes, probably in some other guild, maybe closer to Edgewood, maybe with more traffic. There's probably another mark on the wall, another job on the wall.
You're probably very right about that.
Alabaster, actually.
Oh, and Rasadi's like, oh, damn, okay. Heard of that place. Don't know a ton about it, but I've heard of that place. Mama has told me about Alabaster, at least a little bit.
Those unaware, I think just about everybody that lives on this continent would know that is like the epicenter of magic for the world.
I might not know, to be honest.
You might not.
Yeah.
And that is one of the few places Red has not made any deliveries.
It's true.
I've never been there either.
It might be a good idea for us to start on some of the stuff here. That seems a little heavy, maybe, for us right now.
Well, it's getting real late.
Yes.
Did you still need to deliver your package to Soraya tonight, or it might be too late to come calling on something right now?
I turn to Marith and I say, do you happen to know if Captain, is it Soraya? How do we say her name?
Soraya.
Soraya. Do you know if Captain Soraya is on duty this evening, or if she's retired for the night?
I could not tell you.
Right. Okay.
Just kind of tapping her book on the table.
Sylvius, do you want to go for a quick walkabout and see if we can find her, or do you want to retire for the evening? We can
Sure, I'd
certainly
look for a quick
her in the
walkabout
morning.
with you if you
All right.
want some company. I don't know my way around town, but you seem to.
Yeah. Cirrus, would you like to join us? Red?
I have somewhere to be as well tonight. But before we depart company, Marith, is there anything else you can tell us about this job? The disappearances?
Started about 2 months ago. The post has been up since the first disappearance. There was only one other individual that took the job, and I never heard from them. So I assume they skipped town when they couldn't find anything out. Otherwise, no, we've heard nothing. The victims have been a mix of male, female, old, and young. No defining qualities between them. I assume the guard has some type of lead, I would hope, but...
That was my question, where you might direct us first. The guard?
I would say so. We don't... The guild doesn't interact with local fixtures. We are hired, and then they leave us to our own devices. They mostly leave it up to the cunning adventurers to sort that out.
I don't know that I'm cunning, but perhaps my new friends might meet that description.
It subtly raises an eyebrow.
Cyrus, I have to go speak to the captain of the guard this evening and give her a package. Perhaps maybe we could ask her if we happen to find her more about this.
I trust your abilities to do that. I have an appointment I have to make. Well, I guess there's no point in being coy. This is where I grew up, and I've been gone for a while, and I need to say hello to my family.
I understand that. I'll tell you what, Rusati, we'll go off. Let's see if we can find Captain. I have a room here. Why doesn't everyone meet up in the morning at your mama's tea place up on the hill?
We could definitely do that, and I would be most happy to host you all for some tea and breakfast.
That sounds great.
Jasmine.
Cirrus, do you know where the tea shop we're talking about?
Of course. Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. Well, then we shall depart and go take care of our business, and we will see you in the morning.
I'll be here. Just swing by and pick me up.
All right,
No problem.
Rusati, looks like it's just you and me.
Let's do this.
Is Red getting a room here?
Yeah, definitely.
So, as you ask Marith for a room, she looks up at you and gives a slight sigh and closes the book again, reaches back to the wall and grabs like a 24 off, and then drops it to the floor. And then a second later, you hear like a pitter patter of paws as this white Shiba Inu looking dog walks out and kind of picks up the keys in its mouth and then just starts walking into the hallway.
She follows the dog.
The dog will lead you up these like twirling, twisting stairs up into the tree, like the center of the hollow of the tree, until you get to a wooden door with the numbers 24 carved into it. And you are in a room. This room does not have a window. You are in wood, right? Everything is like chiseled out wood. Except for the bed. The bed is like a nice feather bed. Now to Rusati and Tyrelius over there.
Tiberius.
Tiberius, there we
Yes.
go. No.
I'm gonna go with Todd. Todd.
We're gonna fuck. I think that's gonna be a thing now. We're just gonna fuck his name up for the whole campaign.
We're gonna call him T-Rex.
You
There
guys
you
exit
James T. Kirk.
James Tilvius Kirk.
Into this like you feel that bite where before it was like the chill, nice autumn weather. Now it's like this biting cold as we are in like the middle of nighttime. It's probably 11:30, 12 o'clock at this point. As you guys exit the guild hall, where do you want to go?
I think if
Should we check the barracks?
barracks is a good idea. The other thing I was thinking of was, would Rasati know any places in town where the town's guard typically go to get a drink or a nightcap? Could I roll a history check or something?
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Roll a history check.
All right.
Somebody have TV or something going on in the background?
Not over here.
Okay.
No, not over here.
I hear it, but I don't know where.
Yeah.
1 second. Let me pull up my history. That's going to be a 22.
A 22. You know that the guards aren't supposed to drink when they're on patrol. right? Unless they're off duty, not supposed to drink. That's not really how it goes. When they are kind of going around, the bars tend to forget drinks on tables outside, right? They're kind of to the north of the trading forum, the like common area where everybody comes during the day. It's been packed up now. It's kind of just like a open plain at this point. But sometimes the tables outside, they have drinks on them, and then maybe after that they have coin on them.
I will relay that to James T. Kirk, and we will head in that direction.
Sure. So
I didn't think I chose a difficult name.
you didn't. It's not that bad. It's
didn't.
just
It's fun.
amazing that people are fucking it up.
It's
Love
just
it.
me. It's my fault.
No, it's not just you, because I have to look at it every single time or I will fuck it up.
Yeah, but you're gonna learn that fucking name.
I will learn that fucking name. Tilius. Got it.
So as you're heading through town, the like vibrant colors have kind of died out. Where before, like the light was reflecting off of all of like the leaves and the foliage before, and kind of shading this area in that like red, orangish, yellow hue. That's all gone. Those of you with dark vision are seeing in blacks and grays in the distance. Those of you without are seeing like the dark walnut color of the houses reflected off of the like torches lining the streets. And you're seeing that those of you that aren't familiar with this place are seeing that same, or just Tilvius really, is seeing that same eerie lighting, those shadows playing on the houses everywhere here. And as you're heading through the open square to the bar, you make it through the like open field over there, and you do in fact see some guards kind of walking here and fro. They're kind of like looking around the street, looking at the booze and then looking back down the street, right? And they're just kind of standing there. They're two like taller individuals, seem rather muscularly built, wearing that same kind of like iron armor, kind of scaled in appearance, almost like a male.
But nobody that would reflect Soraya, though.
No, the last time you saw Soraya, she was this maybe 5'8", very lithe, elven individual who wore light armor. She was the only one of the watch that wore light armor.
Well, Rusadi's gonna walk right up to him.
Yeah, I'll trot up right next to him too.
Like,
yeah. We're gonna.
I know it's really late, but sometimes Soraya is out patrolling late at night. Sometimes is she about this evening? I have a package from Tuthan that needs to be delivered.
They're gonna look at each other, and they're gonna look at you. And they're gonna look at each other. They're gonna look at you. I think she's on rest tonight, but I'm not sure.
Insight. 21.
You don't need my help.
You can tell that look was, I really don't want to say where the fucking commander is. Like, I don't want to deal with this tonight. I don't need to be the guy that told some like dude that's all pissed off where to find her, or like told somebody. I'm not about this.
All right. So I say, all right, listen, friends. We just need to deliver this package to her. We will just take a second of her time. We won't tell her you told us where to find her. Honestly, it's just a drop off.
And he kind of looks. Do you guys have the package with you?
I assume
I do, yeah.
Okay. He kind of looks over at you, looks back. Listen, she's taking watch over by the general store tonight. That's it.
All right, thank you. Come on, Rossetti. Although I don't know which way to go, so you lead.
As I pass one of the tables next to him, I'm gonna flip a gold coin out onto the table and just keep walking.
And you will hear shuffling towards that gold coin.
I
Towards
won't.
that
I will.
towards
I
that
will
table.
not look back. Not look back.
Nope.
So as you guys are heading through the streets, you're kind of going between like this set of housing that's all together, and it's worth noting these houses are kind of like clumped together. That's how this is built. So you're kind of in this alleyway between two sets of housing, and as you're here, over in the distance to your right hand side towards the north, you hear a scream. And then it's cut short.
Can we
Oh
gauge
shit!
like
Half your party's
how
not there.
Yeah.
how far that was away?
It's so these houses are maybe like 30 or 40 feet long, right? And there's two sets between you and there. So maybe 100
Okay.
feet.
Tilvius, should we check that out or should
Let's check that out.
we? Okay, I'll follow you.
I don't know where I'm going.
All right.
So I
He
start
gets
heading
like all nervous and then he just
in the
like,
direction.
takes off, like just
Yeah.
bolts.
So you guys are bolting through the streets. Roll me like athletics, just real quick.
This ought to go swimmingly.
Athletics. Boo. I'm better at
It's not
acrobatics.
that bad.
Well,
It's
we're
not
not. This isn't like too much
bad.
flipping. This is just straight out running. Right?
Ugh. 5.
Athletic skills. 15.
Okay, so Rosati, you know where you're going. You kind of get around the houses and you cut forward. You know that there's this like nice little pathway with some stairs that head up right here to get you on the other side. Tilvius takes a second to follow. He kind of run past the stairs and then sees that you're gone. And he goes, "Oh fuck!" and turns back around to catch up. Heard wait. Good. Okay.
I'm good.
As you turn around, you get to the top of the stairs and you take that right, and you see empty streets with a well sitting in the middle, but the bucket in the well is gone. And then to the right of the well, you see a basket that had cheeses and breads and things like that strewn across the like stone and gravel floor pathways.
I cast detect magic.
Oh. So are you going to cast that as a ritual?
No,
No?
I won it up instantly.
Give me just a second. That's interesting.
Right? I have a very specific reason.
I know what you're looking for. You're not going to see that.
That's fine. I'm still gonna. It's what he would do. So, Silvius, if you're talking, you're muted. I think you're up now.
Oh, this is what it is. So I'm going to say, for the sake of this, you do get the faintest of pings as you use the spell. It's almost like there's this purple mist in the area that's dissipating as you get there. And as you're looking at it, it rings enchantment in your mind. And as you're looking at it and you feel that, it disappears and the mist evaporates.
I'm gonna, since it's so dark here, I'm gonna cast dancing lights and have them like spread out around the area so that I can kind of see this well area that we're in a little bit better.
Sure. As the lights spread out and they kind of light up this area, those shadows that were playing at the edges of your mind disappear, and you can see the normal circular area with houses surrounding it and a well in the middle, and then the basket on the floor. At this point, you hear boots on gravel, right? You hear the voices. Allie, cut it off.
I'm going to look to see if I can see any like fresh tracks, anything like that near the dropped basket.
I point towards where the mist was, and I'm doing the same thing, but I'm looking like where that mist was to see if I can see any prints or anything like that, because I have another thing I'm
Sure.
going to do if I do.
You guys can both roll investigation.
All right.
Investigation. Ooh.
Okay, that's not that bad.
Or if you'd like to roll something else, make an
Oh, well, I just rolled a natural 20, so I'll take
okay.
that.
Alrighty.
Investigation, I got a... Why does this take so long? 15.
Okay. So as you're both looking, you're kind of like tracking through the scene, and you see the footprints of somebody coming down the opposite way that you came down, and the footprints stop abruptly, and then there's like a scuffle on the floor, almost like feet were dragged and moved, right? Right next to where this basket fell, and then nothing. But
so no tracks leading away from it.
But with a nat 20, as you're kind of looking through, you take in the full surrounding, right? And you're looking. Nobody raised the water? Like they just left it down in the well?
The bucket.
Yeah.
The bucket's down in the well. Why would the bucket be down in the well unless someone was going to get water? And if someone was going to get water, why would they leave the bucket down in the well? I say that out loud to Risati.
Do we look in the well, like, real quick?
You can.
Yeah, I send one of my lights down it.
Yeah, so you will see these like paved stone leading all the way down, and then you see the reflection of the light on the top of the water. No pathways leading out, nobody in the well, just a well with some water at the bottom.
And I don't see anything magical, of any kind.
And then it goes down probably
farther than I can see.
Probably like 20 or 30 feet. You do not from where you are.
Okay. Boy. Somebody got kidnapped here. Something bad happened.
And it's at this point, 5 different guards kind of crowd in to this little circular area, all with hands on their swords, looking directly at you.
We heard a scream. We came to see what was going on. This is what we found. We haven't touched anything.
What happened?
We don't know. We got here. There was a bucket and a basket laying on the ground. I saw a brief poof of some kind of purple mist, like right here.
You did?
And I didn't get a chance to tell you that. Yes, right over here, next to your scuffle area. But there's no one around. They're gone.
The tracks come up. Looks like there was a scuffle here, but then there's no tracks leading away.
And at this point, you see the 2 guys that are kind of where you lot came into the circle. They kind of look behind them and then stand apart as who Rosati would know as Soraya comes walking through, hand on this like curved sword at her hip, wearing this like leather armor with a cloak over the top of it. And as she gets to the circle, she looks around, looks at both of you, and just raises an eyebrow. Explain.
Good evening, Captain.
Oh, Captain. Captain, it's nice to meet you. You must be Captain Soraya.
Indeed.
Okay. My name's Tilvius. Of course, you know Risati. We were wandering, well, not wandering. We were passing by 2 rows of houses down. We heard a scream and rushed over here to see what was the matter. And this is exactly as we found this area.
The basket, the bucket, there's appearing
Tracks,
and pointing
scuffle,
tracks and
nose
scuffle,
tracks
and
leading
then
away from the scuffle.
I explained the ending of some kind of enchantment spell or something that ended right here. Then I just kind of point in the air.
And that was all
And
you saw?
that's all we saw.
I'm going to ask that you head to sleep for the night. My people will take statements, and I'm going to ask that you leave and don't leave town.
I mean, we can respect that. On a separate note, and I apologize because we were sort of looking for you this evening, anyways. I have a delivery for you from Tucson, and I will bring out the package and hand it to her. My sincere apologies that we are meeting like this evening.
And her eyes kind of scrunch together. She looks at you and takes the package and holds it at her side. Thank you. I'm going to send 2 of my men, and she'll gesture towards 2 of them, with you back to wherever it is you're staying.
I'm staying at the guild hall.
At the guild
Rusadi's
hall.
staying. Are you staying at your mama's, Rusadi?
I'm staying at home, and I point to the tea house on the hill,
Yeah.
like in the distance.
And she'll turn to the 2 guards, drop him off at the guild, and then take Rosati home.
Oh,
And they
Mama's
both
gonna be
kinda
pissed. Mama's gonna be
nod.
pissed at me.
And I'm gonna say for this, they'll kind of walk you away, and as they are, one of them pulls out a notebook and is writing down what the 2 of you saw. They get back to the guild hall, and as you enter the guild hall, you look down. The fucking cat's been there for the last like 2 hours, sitting in that same spot. And finally, you come in, and it kind of picks itself up, looks at you, tilts its head.
Kitty, would you like scratches?
And then it starts walking the opposite direction.
I didn't think so.
It leads you to a large, like almost barn door that's kind of shaped in the style like a portcullis almost. And you notice there's plenty of headroom in that door. As you come forward and you fish the keys out, open up the door, it looks like a barn. It looks like a barn. There's a fucking barn.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Rosati,
Yes.
they enter the guild hall, and it takes a second before the other guard comes back out after making sure that Tilvius had made it safely inside. And then they walk you through the city and up the hill to your shop. As you get there, it's locked. You fish out the key out of your pocket, stick it in the slot, and it's like old, rusted, very antique lock. Turn it, and you hear that click. And you open the door, and it's dark, and your lungs fill with that like dust from someplace that hasn't been used in a while. And you're looking around. Nothing's been touched almost since you left. There's 2 problems with that. 1, your mother should have been back by now. And 2, you left somebody in charge here.
Indeed. Mama?
Dead silence.
Bilbus? Hello? And I'm going to cast light on the end of my staff.
As you cast light, you get a better look. You can see the dust in the air, the dust on the shelves. It looks as if there was maybe a day of business since you left, which was almost 3 weeks ago now.
Something's wrong. Where's Mama? Where's Bilbus? And he's gonna search the whole place.
So, as you're searching through, you'll find everything exactly where it should be. Everything normal. Nothing out of the ordinary besides all the dust.
Is the dust out of place, or is it just like dust from just not?
Yeah, Bilbus does a pretty good job. You don't get that many customers. Most of your customers are all the regulars that have decided they really like the tea, right?
Yeah.
So he has a lot of time to clean.
He starts to feel very cold and very lonely very fast. And does he find anything out of the or other than the dust? Like, does the dust, like, is it meaningful dust, or is it just like dust because it's collected because nobody's cleaned?
Yes, just because it's been unclean.
Okay. He goes to his mama's, like, where she stays, and obviously attempts to enter.
So you give it a knock, no response. Then you go to twist the handle and open the door, and it does. It opens into that, like, would you cast light on your walking stick?
Yeah.
Take your walking stick and you push it through the door, and it lights up the room, and nothing amiss. The bed is made. It doesn't look moved or rumpled. Her nightstand is there with that same, like, flowery light attached to it. Nothing looks amiss.
I go over to her shelf and I pull out the fourth book from the right on the second shelf. And
Okay.
I open it, but it's not a book. It's like a little box that looks like a book. And I pull out a piece of copper wire that has like some kind of little doodad like attached to the end of it. And I hold it up to my mouth like this. And Mama always told me that if there was something wrong and I couldn't get a hold of her, that all I had to do was to speak into this wire, and she could hear me. And so, with a trembling voice of a 7-foot tall half-orc, with a tear starting to form in his eye, he's, Mama, are you there? Where are you? I'm worried about you. And that's it. He's basically using sending.
Is it sending or message?
No, message is like local.
That's the
Sending
cantrip.
is like, yeah, message is plainer. This is something Mama left him. Like, if there was an emergency, use this. But it's only like good for like, once or twice a day.
Okay.
And this is completely me, like, rule however you wish. You could say that it doesn't occur, but just something that's fitting.
I'm going to say that you feel that same energy that you did before, when you were in the guild hall and Red crushed the pearl. That same weight falls on you, and the wire starts to burn from the tip down in your hand. And the only thing you hear as it begins to burn in your mother's voice is quiet.
And when it gets to his fingers, it'll singe his fingers before he lets go. And he just drops it to the floor and like shakes his hand and like, tries to wipe away the soot. and he's like visibly shaken at this point. He turns to the guard and he's like, I, I understand that you were to drop me off here this evening. I, my mother is missing. Something is not right. When I used that, I've always been able to get a hold of her no matter what. This time, she told me to be quiet, and then it burnt up in my hand. I don't know where she is, but she's in trouble. Please, don't make me stay here by myself tonight. May I please return to the guild hall?
Of course. If we need to head back to town anyway. Are you okay?
And he just like sits on the end of her bed, like, and puts his hand up to his mouth, and he's just kind of like softly rocking back and forth, just kind of that like not crying, but like very close to crying kind of state. I, I starts to hyperventilate a little bit. Mama's always taken care of me. She told me that I would have to grow up and be my own man someday, and that one day I would have to go on great adventures and learn the things of the world. I thought that that was just something that I could go do with my friends and everything would be okay. And he just kind of rambles on and on and on about like,
So you're in this room with this like small little dwarf guard and his chainmail, and then this this big like minotaur dude with his big horns coming out, and you're a little preoccupied, so you don't notice too much of this. But the minotaur is sitting there looking at you. He's like reaching his hand as if he's gonna pat you in the back, and he brings it back, tilts his head, shakes it, looks at the dwarf. The dwarf goes,
I would say after a little bit of this goes on, he'll come to a little bit. Give me a moment, please. He's going to go through the shop and he's going to select out some things to put in his pack, teas and different things. He'll put them in there and he'll take a small leather-bound case, kind of like the size of a wand, if you will, and he's going to put it into his pack. And then he's going to say, "Can we return now, please?"
"Of course." And they'll both kind of lead you back to the guild hall. And as you come in, Meredith, without even looking up from her book, turns around, grabs a random key off the thing, and then throws it at you.
Yeah, it's like whatever you want. 16 plus.
Oh yeah, you managed to catch it even in like your current state of mind. She hasn't looked up at you at all. She's very engrossed in this book. And as she does, that same cat that you saw earlier standing next to Tilvius kind of appears from through the doorway and just sits and stares at you.
It's been an incredibly long day. Please take me. I must lay down. My head hurts.
And the cat will walk over to you and rub up against your leg and then lead you to your room.
Unfortunately, Josh, I don't have that right now. I wish, but I don't have it.
If only, dude. These animals have stories.
I bet they do.
I cannot speak with animals either.
From Baldur's Gate, where every single animal will talk to you. I'm like, and then speak with animals is an all-day spell. It's just
so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
It's so good.
3 of our players are asleep. Cirrus, is there something you would like to do tonight?
Yeah, I know I'm kind of throwing this at you without any sort of prep at all.
Let's go.
Cirrus is going to visit his family.
Okay.
and I've given you no names, no details. No,
So-
like you are have fun, improvise, you bitch.
So Ruzadi made a comment before about how he's never seen you. And he's never really seen Dragonborn before. And there's a reason for
Okay.
that.
Right, and we're
As-
from the same town.
Right. As you leave the guild hall, where everybody else kind of turns to go up and out, you don't turn to go up and out. You go deeper into the roots.
Like stairs.
So they're not really built stairs, right? This is just ground, and you kind of have to weave your way through the roots until you find this like nestled pathway inside of the roots. So now you are walking through the roots of the tree. And
Cool.
as you do, eventually you make your way back to your nest, where at this time everybody would be asleep, right? Everybody is in their little like grass cots or their wooden makeshift beds.
I think I would make my way to my mother's sleeping area.
Okay.
I guess most mothers and fathers tend to sleep in the same sleeping area, but like,
Hey man, who knows?
who knows? You know what I mean? But yeah, I go to kind of shake my mother's shoulder, and let's call her Peony.
Peony?
Peony.
So as you shake your mother's shoulders, eventually you'll wait, and she kind of has those same white scales that you do, but there's a tinge of red towards like her frills almost. And as she opens her eyes, you see that same red there set. And as they open and she looks at you, she starts to cry. There's no words. She just cries and reaches up to embrace you.
And I gently just wipe the tear from her cheek and reach around her and pull her close and say, I'm back. This was unusual. It was an unusual walkabout. I put her back down.
So as you put her back down and she's kind of wrecked with sobs, I'm gonna cheat and say that's where we end tonight.
That's fine.
So we're gonna go around. Y'all can say your character and who you are once again. Starting with Joe.
Hello. Hello, Internet. My name is Joff. I'm playing Red, also known as the Maroon Fox in the guild halls. And that's all I got because I'm not actually on the internet other than that.
And to Tony.
Hello, everybody. This is Dragons. You can call me Dragons Tony or LevaFed and Dragons. I kind of go by a lot of things. You can find me on TikTok under LevaFed and Dragons. I play Risati Tealeaf, your awkward, kind-hearted, kind of odd half-orc magic casting person. And my mama is missing, and I am not happy.
Let's go to Chris.
I really wanted to meet Mama this episode. I'm upset.
Oh.
I'm Chris. I play Centaur named Tilvius of the Circling Waters.
James
Tilrius?
Tiberius Kirk.
James Tiberius Kirk. Tilvius of the
Tilrius,
Circling
right?
Waters. Yeah,
The Centaur.
the Centaur.
And to
Love your
Josh.
character. I am playing. My name is Josh, and I am playing Cirrus, the White Dragonborn, with a mysterious history here. Coming home You can find my socials at the Questing Cast. Again, very inactive. We not doing anything, but very soon, I hope we will be consistently active with a consistent release of episodes for a Savage Worlds 1920s adventure that I'm doing with a different cast of characters that we had a lot of fun with. So I hope you get to, and Joff over there, where's my finger pointing in that direction, has created a lot of good art and content for us. Good guy, Joff. So
good gravy, Joff.
Good gravy.
And I have been Dakota Orishiro. This has been a D&D 5e live play here on Vibe Tribe Productions. We'll be live again next week on Thursday, so come find out what happens next. Yeah, everybody have a good night.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.